I didn't close the curtain all the way. All right, well, we're going to start anyway because the time just flies by. Welcome to the channel. My name's Margaret Pennard, and I'm a historical fiction and fantasy writer and reader, eclectic reader. And I'm here to do 2 tags today. So often on the free StreamYard, I forget to put banners up. So let me put this up at the beginning to train my brain to use the banners. It's a 2-for tag day. So my Sunday stream time is 10 a.m. Pacific as usual. I've got my warm cup of tea. I definitely slept in today because I was so wound up last night from the launch party. So thank you to everyone who came out. It was fun to do all my little experiments and my games, and I think it went great. So I hope everyone had a fun time and happy reading of Orla Rafferty Seeks Her Fortune. So that is out. Oh, I need to stop the toast in the toaster oven. Hold on. When you get to that point where you can start smelling it being toasted, you know you can't leave it in there. So didn't want to burn the toast. Hi, Jeremy. Happy Sunday. I'm here to do 2 really fun tags. One is about bookmarks and one is about order of reading. And since I don't have really a system, that should be an interesting one to experiment with. If you've got any questions as we go, feel free to pop them in the chat. And yeah, so the first one I have is the I'll get to you later tag. And that is a series of 7 prompts. And I think Leslie tagged me from Books, Gurs, and Purrs. And she said that Cobalt Dragon, or Elaine, is the one who did it, that made her do it. But I don't think she had the original creator in there. So I'm just going to put those 2 because it's a lazy Sunday morning. And and I'm super tired from last night. And that's the level we're operating at. So, prompt for this one. Number 1, a classic book that you've been meaning to read forever but haven't read yet. And I think this one will make Gareth happy. Gareth's been doing so many videos, so I assume he's resting. I hope he's resting. This book is one that is available electronically, and I've tried to read it several times electronically, but it's PDF'd and it's a little clunky and it's not like in focus. And so I think I sort of abandoned it several times, even though it's a high priority research book for my last book, the one that didn't get published, the one that's in the drawer. But then I found a physical copy, and of course it's like professionally formatted, so it's much easier to read. So this book is Progress and Poverty by Henry George. And what's cool is it's still applicable to the series that I'm looking at now. So he was more popular towards the end of the century, but depending on what I do with this trilogy, I may use some of his ideas and like opening threads to bolster some of the arguments that characters struggle with in Orla's series. So Progress and Poverty, it's nonfiction. It's from the late 19th century. Henry George was someone who was opposing capitalism on the basis that it isn't fair. And this is my reading. This is not like a very professional reading, but basically, if you own the land and you get rent from the land, that's unfair. So he had a different way of people generating income from their labor so that we were all on an even playing field, and capital being treated a different way. So I thought that was interesting. I got captivated by this several years ago, but I haven't actually read the text. I've just read references to Henry George, stuff about his life. So I should really read this. I haven't yet. Shame on me. Number 2, what is a book on your shelf you haven't read yet? Okay, and so I filled out these answers last month when I did my triple tag, which was like a couple weeks ago. And at that point, I put this book in for this question, and I am currently, I don't know, 20% of the way through it, page 72, The Crescent Moon Tea Room by Stacy Savinsky. And this is a beautiful cover. It's got glossy things you can see, but it's also got like pretty font and like, you'll be surprised to know, I was surprised when I started reading that this is set in Chicago in about the 1890s. And I can share the little thing here. On their way home after a day of shopping at Schlesinger and Meyer and or Marshall Fields, their colorful skirts and wide sleeves demanding space along the sidewalks and in the streetcars. So that was one sentence that was descriptive, but gave me exactly the decade that I was supposed to be in, because we had Chicago, we had wide sleeves, we had streetcars, and I was like, boom. So I love that in historical fiction. So this is historical fantasy, and there's three witches, and they're triplets. They're sisters with no parents, and they've just been saddled with their inciting incident, shall we say. I got this on pre-order, so I got a special sticker and a postcard, and that will come up again later. But I have started reading it, so it's been on a TBR before, and I felt like I pre-ordered it. Why didn't I read it right away? Well, because I was saving it for a cozy time, and January is definitely cozy winter reading time. So I'm liking it, and it's different from most other stuff that I've read. So I'm excited for that. Also, I'm also reading right now, just to take a complete sideline from the tag, Yeonam-dong Smiley Laundromat on audiobook. And if anyone else has read that, Katya, I think you have read that like a couple months ago. Did you read the audio version? Have you heard the audio version? I'm curious to get other people's opinions. I'm about 40% of the way through. It's interesting. All right, question number 3. A book that you recently got that you haven't read yet. Okay. So this was a very put off purchase. So I've been lusting after this book for quite a while, and it's expensive. It's a really nice book, and so I thought, oh, I'm not going to read it yet. I shouldn't get it. Like, I can't read it right away. So it falls into this category because I finally got it right before Christmas for myself, because I'd finally filled out. I think you have to get 12 books or 12 purchases before you get your reward on your loyalty card, or it might be 20. It was a lot. Anyway, Broadway Books, I finally got this, and it was only like $5 instead of 30. Yeah, $30 paperback, but it's full of illustrations, and it's that really smooth, and it's actually, I can feel that it's stamped in the front. So really beautiful book. It's called Cascadia Field Guide. And if you don't know what Cascadia is, there are mountains called the Cascades, and it's sort of a personality of the Pacific Northwest. It goes over state lines, it goes over country lines. There's been talk about having a bioregion rather than a political region, and that's what Cascadia, the idea is. And so the field guide is really getting to know that bioregion. And this is not just through like plant identification, it's art, ecology, and poetry. So it's got some editors there, and beautiful illustrations. But it's kind of like All We Can Save, in that it's got a theme and it's got multiple contributors, and then it takes multiple formats of how people are coming to their understanding of the bioregion. So it's beautiful, and I can't wait to read it. Actually, I can, because I'll get to you later. Oh, I'm gonna be careful with that book. Let's see. Boop. Next question is number 4, a book you had forever but haven't read yet. Okay, so this would be a good point to pop in a suggested video, which is my 10 before the end. So I did a which book should I read out of these 10 before the end of the year? And I had a priority book and I didn't read it. But now I can't find it. So C.L. Polk, even though I knew the end, I've looked for it everywhere this morning and I can't find it. So it's here instead. historical fantasy lesbians. This was voted on, and now I can't find the book. So it's on the list. I will read it as soon as I find it, but we're still unpacking. I've been home a week and we're still unpacking because of all the stuff that's been going on here, including the launch party. So yeah. And I mentioned to someone at the launch party that I couldn't find the pin that my sister got me for Christmas because I wanted to wear it. And I thought I had left it pinned to a coat and I couldn't find the coat. And then I realized, no, I put it in my desk when I sat down for this. So this is the cool pin. Read books and dismantle systems of oppression. That would have been perfect had I only been able to lay my finger on it. So it's definitely time to declutter again. Yeah. Let's see. Hi, Dig Outlaw. Welcome. Yeah, Jeremy says, even though I knew the end is a cool title. Yeah, it definitely reminds me of they both die at the end. Like, there's some definite meta fiction going on, which I love that authors play with that. I hate doing titles. They're so difficult for me. So, but the book that I'm going to tag for this, a book you had forever but haven't read yet, is a different book from that 10 Before the End. It's The Last American Man by Elizabeth Gilbert, back before Elizabeth Gilbert was famous. And she was sort of a long-form journalist. And this is one of her works before Eat, Pray, Love. And it's a sociology book. It's about masculinity and different men dealing with stuff in their life and how she like analyzes it or compiles it to give an impression. And it's intriguing, but I think the opening that I've read hasn't brought me in, but I don't want to give it up. So I've had it forever and haven't read it yet. Book number 5, a book a friend recommended that you haven't read. Okay, so this is what I'm going to go back to this one. Even Though I Knew the End was a book recommended by Bree at Locked Booktition. So, oh, you don't see it on there. Well, it's on one of the editions. So you'll see here, people you follow have interacted with this book. Amanda Beth Rose gave it 4 stars. Rachel gave it 4.5 stars. Let's see if it'll show Bree on here. Yes. Okay. So Bree gave it 5 stars. So if you don't know, Storygraph has this function that I think has been improved this year in the past few months. So you can see how people you're friends with or you're following have interacted with the books. So because they sort of hide the rating from you, if you go back, if you come to the book, you don't see the ratings until you go down to community reviews. And so I think it might be more valuable for me to see what people I follow rate it than what the average is, because you'll see 4, 4.5, 5 is definitely a different average than 3.93 based on 7,000 reviews. So that's just my little takeaway from Storygraph's one of their features. Hi, Jim. How you doing? Good morning and good evening. Cat Paws here. Hello, hello. And Jeremy and Jim saying hi. Hi, hi, hi. I think this is the book for the rest of the questions. So a book you're procrastinating right now. And I was going to say the same one, but now I can't find it. So there's a different reason I'm not reading it. It's number 7, the next book on your TBR. It was this one, but now I can't find it. So the next book, well, I mean, the one I'm reading right now is The Crescent Moon Tea Room. I also, of course I did, I went and comforted myself with books. I got another Grace Burroughs romance, Lady Violet Finds a Bridegroom. So I started that. And then for like the hard hitter, I started Life as We Have Known It by Cooperative Working Women. Working Women describe their jobs, families, and political awakening in early 20th century England, edited by Margaret Llewellyn Davis with an introductory letter by Virginia Woolf. So this is perfect for getting in the spirit of co-ops and unions and labor movements and all that kind of stuff. So I'm reflecting an earlier energy for that in the 1830s, and it's more men at that point, because I think early 20th century, it's definitely moving into suffragists movements and stuff, as well as working women. And there's a movie out right now that is, it's got, who's the guy that everyone It's like a strange heartthrob at the moment, but it's about the Irish, laundries, the Irish laundries, the Magdalen laundries, and the secret abortions and secret, goings on, early 20th century. And they talk, I think that's the movie that I saw, uh, a trailer for, and they're talking about women and the vote and, their working lives. And so this is really good. I just started it. I'm using page flags for bookmark. So yeah, and then the next one on the TBR, I've got a few here, so I'll just like flash them up here. This is on my list because I've had it from a friend for way too long and I want to read it and get it back, but I just don't start it. The Great Offshore Grounds by Vanessa Veselka. This might also be an oceans book for Climathon. Anya, if you're still looking, it's fiction, but it's talking about like Alaska and sort of a bioregion, but more about how it affects the characters. So there's that. This is on my list. This is a friend's book, The Daughters of Nantucket, book by Julie Gerstenblatt. And it's historical fiction, 19th century Nantucket, so East Coast, Massachusetts, whaling island when there was still a whaling industry, and 3 different women and how things affect them and how they relate to each other. And what's cool is I have this on my TBR for now because Julie is going to be interviewing me for A Mighty Blaze on Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. So if you haven't gotten enough talking about Orla yet, I'll be on A Mighty Blaze channel on their Facebook and there at my YouTube. And Julie will be interviewing me because we are both historical fiction authors and just love it. And she has a beautiful cover here. So I got this on pre-order and haven't read it yet. It's just one of those ones that I go, don't pick up. So I want to do this soon. This is what I have for my New Year's-a-thon by Donna Marie Reads. When Among Crows by Veronica Roth. It's a slim volume. I haven't read Veronica Roth, so I wanted to break into a new author, and it's a really cool cover. It's a fantasy. There's magic. There's swords. So this sounded like a good escape, although I'm already reading romance and fantasy, so I guess I'm really escaping. And yeah, so we'll stop there for the TBR, but that's pretty exciting. Nia is here. Hello. Nia was just on. I know there's a marathon going on right now, but Nia was just on Tiffany's stream and then Esther's stream. People that I follow. Nia's on all the streams. So, and Jeremy says lots of fun covers. Yeah, very, very good job. People doing good jobs. Okay, so the last prompt in the I'll get to you later tag is tag some people. So I haven't put it in the description yet, but as soon as I'm done, I have Emma Bennett for this one. I thought that would be fun to have her highlight the books that she's hasn't read yet, but wants to. Writer in Rwanda. So Marion, I'm tagging you again, even though you just did the final before the end Christmas music tag. And Amy at A Star Reads. So Amy's been doing like really fun Christmas things. I think she still may have some Christmas themed videos to put out. So hopefully this can be in the mix. But I think they do a fun job on this and get some different viewpoints. Let's see. The next tag. I'm going to take a sip here. So, did I put this up? I did not. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute. Guess how many bookmarks I counted? Because this next one is called the Hold My Place book tag, and it's about bookmarks. I was tagged by Heather Reeds, who is one of the co-creators of the original tag. The other is Books Off the Beaten Path, I believe. And her name is Meg, I believe. So they're in the description. And like I said, I was really tired after the event last night, and I woke up really late because I went to bed at 10:30 and woke up at 1:30 and couldn't get back to sleep till like 4. So obviously my brain was still working on stuff. And yeah, so I had the right amount of sleep, but I slept in way past what I thought I would. So I had to count all my bookmarks this morning so that I could give you guys an answer and see if you can guess the number I'm thinking of. How many bookmarks do you think you have, and how many bookmarks do you think I have? I mean, they're both interesting questions. I think I'll leave this for last. So, the first question for the Hold My Place book tag is, do you know how many bookmarks you own? And I do. I'm going to wait till you guys can guess a number because I like making people guess numbers of the bubblegum in the bubblegum machine. Number 2. So we'll come back to that one. Which of your bookmarks do you like using most and why? Okay, so this isn't using most. Okay, so the one that I would say I use most or have used most is actually not a bookmark, which is a separate question, but this was part of a Christmas present that my sister made a long time ago. I don't know, maybe more than 10 years. And we were writing resolutions. This was mine, write more letters and cook more real meals. Sounds like me. And I think I'm doing both of those. But the original ribbon still on there. I don't remember. She had some sort of like game, I think, where we guessed. But it's a Christmas present decoration that was a perfect bookmark. I mean, look, it's bookmark shaped. So I liked using this throughout the years, and it's been in the bag for a while. I do use a very fancy plastic Ziploc bag to keep all my bookmarks in. So again, that's a question for later, but yeah, I have a lot of bookmarks and I rotate them. And this one came up a lot because it just made me happy to think about my resolution, Kathy, her creative ability, all that stuff. So happy thoughts. Number 3, if you can show off a bookmark would you own, which is an example of a bookmark received as a gift. Okay, so a gift. Nope. Nope. All right, so this isn't strictly speaking a bookmark either, but I was using the signed book plate or sticker book plate from Stacy Savinsky, who wrote Crescent Moon Tea Room, which is a pre-order bonus as a bookmark. So that was kind of a gift. And then I'm pretty sure this was from Nina, one of my friends in DC, and it's something that you'll often see in like souvenir stores, especially Korean ones. This is a metal bookmark, and it's a really pretty colored enamel metal. It's like got cranes and sky and clouds. It's just really pretty. So it's yeah, I'm gonna like flash the sunlight. There you go. If you want to blind somebody, this would come in handy. So I liked using this one, and that was a gift. What's the next one? Something that is not meant to be a bookmark that you have used as a bookmark. So I've already shown you a few of those. This one I'll wait till later. Let's see. Not used as a bookmark. There was a category. There it is. Okay, so things that were in my bookmark bag because I've used them as bookmarks and my brain somehow thought, I will use this as a bookmark again, even though it's not a bookmark. So we've got a bookmark from a candle company. So that was kind of cool. Had a little ritual for Yosoi candles. Love them. We've got a prayer to obtain favors through the intercession of Blessed Margaret de Youville, with the permission of the Ordinary of Montreal, Canada, May 3rd, 1959. So it's a slim piece of paper, and it's not protected, and it's a saint card. The fact that it says 1959 and it's quite old looking, I'm not sure where I got this. I've definitely visited Youville. It was a long time ago, so it's a saint card. That's not really a bookmark. Proud Mary. So this is a business card for a cafe in Portland. I haven't been there in a long time, but it was really visually interesting. I got another like prayer card here, Notre Père, and I don't know where I got that, but it's in French on the back. So we have Notre Père qui es aux cieux, que ton nom soit sanctifié. We've got the Our Father in French. So probably from Canada as well, probably from that Montreal trip. And I haven't used this in a long time. I forgot I had it. So you made me go digging in the bookmark bag for this tag, Heather. So yeah, We've got a gift. So it's part of a gift. This is from my friend Malia, and it was like a perfect bookmark size. So it's kind of like the emoji that I use in Canva for bookmark, platonic ideal of a bookmark. So Malia gave that to me quite a while ago, and I love it. So I keep using it because it makes me happy. We've got a huge ass postcard. So awkward to send. It's the Pittock Mansion, which is right near where I live in Portland, which is a timber baron's mansion from the beginning of the 20th century. It's just pretty. I like architecture. Like postcards often become bookmarks, but aren't made to be them. You'll recognize this. This was in Heather's. It's my little train ticket because I don't like using my wallet for things just to scan. It's from, is it The Last Trip? Let's see, start date 7 October 06. 2006. No. So I think it's 06. Anyway, yeah. Hindlin to Milnagavi. No recollection. No recollection. But I do keep train tickets like this. I think they're useful for remembering where you went and how you got there. Sometimes I am good at putting Google Maps pins in to remember where I've been, but if not, I can remember that I've been that way. I've got a loyalty card for a place that doesn't exist anymore. This is in Multnomah Village. There used to be a pie shop called Sacred Money Studios, Prosperity Pie Shop, and they made the best like pot pies. And they had savory and they had sweet, and I almost always got the savory ones because they were so good and you can't get that elsewhere. But unfortunately, they closed, and I had a full loyalty card and I didn't get to use it. So that's a little sad. So I don't use this for a bookmark, but I keep it. I don't know. Maybe I was hoping they'd come back. This is, I think it's another ticket for entry at Zen Garden. So when we went to Japan or China, I can't even tell. I think it's China. But I don't know where I would have gone to a Zen garden like this, or a contemplative garden. But I liked it. It's bookmark shaped, so it goes in the bookmark bag. I've got a cutout. So I inherited some notebooks of someone who is a prolific writer, and her journals had some cool quotes. Life is an adventure of courage. So I like her handwriting, and I don't know, I just thought that was bookmark shaped as well. The age-old receipt bookmark. This one is from 2010. It's from a trip to Washington, D.C., where I got American Vertigo, which is a book by Bernard and Henri something. Not Levi Strauss. Anyway, some title like that. And I like artifacts like this about when and where I got books. It's kind of fun. We've got a movie ticket. I don't know why that's in the bookmark bag. Julie and Julia. What year? That's from 2009. It's not the last time I went to a movie, but Gallery 14, it's Chinatown in DC. So definitely preserving my history there. We've got, oh my gosh, look at this. This is why I kept this. You guys know what that is? You know what that is? Oh my goodness. Youngins will not know what this is, but this is part of history. Meteo Consult. It's a telephone card. So if you needed to like top up your portable, this was like a phone number for that. For the weather forecast in English, press 1 after connecting. This is to access the weather report on your seriously old Nokia phone when they were pay as you go. I never used that, but I just thought it was interesting. Oh, and here, it's a piece of like hard cardstock that is bookmark shaped. And they used to have a thing at Powell's where they would do offcuts because they had the espresso book machine. And when they would cut for books, they would cut a whole bunch of pages at once. And then they would glue them together and give them a backing and make them notebooks. And it was like, I don't know, free to the person who was paying for the book. I thought that was genius. Waste not, want not. And so I still have 1 or 2 of those, but that's been gone for a long time now. But yeah, it lives on in the memory of my bookmark bag. So fun. Let's see. Jeremy says, I've bought a lot of bookmarks. I'll guess you have 42. That is a good number. That is a good number, Jeremy. Unfortunately, I've left it behind. Cat Paw says, I have a lot. Okay. Jim says, I'll guess you have 33. Okay, 42 and 33. Jim says, I have around 10. I picked up some nice cloth bookmarks the last time I was in Turkey. You know what? I have one of those, I think. Ooh, I don't want to drop this. I think I got this when I was in Turkey. Except it says Capital Area Food Bank Feed the Hungry. I definitely have other bookmarks from Turkey, but this is an Oriental carpet bookmark. So it makes me think of Turkey. Your Oriental carpet bookmark is a Hirike, originally circa 1835, the design. So it's kind of like when people get these for their mouse pads. They're pretty designs that are put on to bookmarks. So that's kind of cool. We're done with the not an actual bookmark question. Shoot. Oh, my categories are now mixed. Let's see. Okay. Leave that there. Jeremy says, I love pot pies. I know. They're so good. They're so comforting. Yeah, I missed that place. Even though it was not the easiest place to get to. It was like a 25-minute drive, which I'm sure you laugh at in Texas, but I try not to drive places. Hi, Leslie. Popping in late. I'm working on my second tag of the day. So I did the I'll get to you later, and now I'm working on the Hold My Place, which is about bookmarks. Nia's going to guess 30, and Jim likes a cool Turkish bookmark. Okay, let me return to the list here. Gift, not meant to be a bookmark advertising a bookstore. So you might want to revise your guesses as you see how many I go through here. So the next category is advertising a bookstore. So every time I order a book online, every time I visit a bookstore in real life when I've traveled, I go to a new bookstore. And so the revisions or the estimates should include duplicates, as I say in the scroller here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are all from Blackwell's. They send you these pretty, there we go. Not letterpress, but old looking. I don't know. My words are failing me. I'm tired this morning. But yeah, old bookmarks. I'm going to read some of the other bookstores that I've been to because it's just fun. Let's see. We've got some duplicates. I'm going to try to consolidate here. So Coalesce Bookstore, which is in Morro Bay. I only discovered this one a few years ago. It's cute. It's an event space in the back, so they have weddings and stuff because the garden in the back is really pretty, and it's a used bookstore for most of its indoor space, and they open at 11, so they open kind of late, unfortunately, because what I would love to do is go to the bakery in Los Osos, which opens at 8 because you have to be there early to get all the stuff, and then go to this bookstore, but I end up having to wait 2 hours because like they don't open till 11, so it's a little sad. But Coalesce, I do like Coalesce. The other one near my house is in Atascadero, which is the Book Odyssey. They just recently suffered, if you want to follow, there it is. They just recently suffered a flood from a bathroom upstairs or something that decimated a lot of the books on the lower levels of their bookshelves. So they are rebuilding, and hopefully we'll still be there next time I make a trip back home. So solidarity with Book Odyssey. They're great. Used bookstore, lovely. They're next to a bakery as well in Atascadero. We've got one of the local here in Portland, Third Eye Books, accessories and gifts, independent Black-owned bookstore, and they're doing great things. I see them on Instagram, and so I have a postcard from them that I use as a bookmark. Let's see, we've got some more one-offs here. We've got the Drama Bookshop, which is, I believe, in London. Drama Bookshop. No, it's in New York. When did I go to this? Wow. This is cool. This is like, or maybe I found it in a book, but like, interesting. Excavating your life, right? We've got Press, Bookstore, Global Media, and more. Georgetown French Market. So I wonder if they're still there because that's a long time ago from my DC days. Tell me if anyone's in DC, if you know if they're still there or not. Let's see. We've got a lot from this one. Birch Bark. So this is from when I ordered a book from Birch Bark. It's in Minnesota, Minneapolis, and it is native owned. It's owned by a famous author, Louis. Is it? Is it owned by Louis Ehrlich? Someone correct me if they know. But they do a lot of great lists of books. So I was looking for a few different kinds of authored books or setting books or themed books. And I think it was Indigenous climate books for Climathon. And they had a whole like 2 pages worth. So they have got a lot of like great resources and suggestions at Birch Bark. Posman, I think this is from my trip to Boston, but it doesn't have any other identifying information. So help you figure that out. We've got another local Portland one, Melville Books. This is a used bookstore that is a gold mine, and I don't get back to them often enough, but Melville, they tend more literary translation, but they've also got a lot of like old mass market paperbacks and old stuff and like not book stuff out in the front. So they're always like a treasure trove to look through. Oh my gosh, I hope they're still there. So this is Kepler's. I've got great memories. Just after I graduated from Santa Clara, meeting up with friends for the cafe where they had, I think it was like a chocolate orange drink, and it was like a core memory at Kepler's in Menlo Park. Like that's delight. Let's see. We've got some more here and here and here and here. So this is one I went to just before Christmas, Vivienne Culinary Books. So this used to be in Hollywood area, and then it moved up to, is it Fremont? So she's made her own, little postcards here, and I went and I love the shop. She does cooking classes as well as curates cookbooks, and so I love that energy. We're here for it. We've got Beers Books, which I know I've heard about on A Mighty Blaze, is Sacramento. I haven't been there very often, but I did go once or twice. We've got the Natural Foreign Book Exchange. Where is this? Oh, here's one from Turkey. Okay, so Akbıyık Caddesi, Sultanahmet. So it's in the Old Quarter, and large selection. Secondhand books. Yay! So that's from 2005. It's 2025. This is 20-year-old bookmark. I'm hanging on to the the stuff that the trees make so that they don't feel neglected or taken advantage of. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We've got Cannon Beach Book Company, which is Oregon Coast, and I haven't been there in a while. Cannon Beach is a beautiful spot, though. Oh, here's the other Turkey one. Homer Kitapevi. So Homer Bookstore. This is an English language bookstore that I remember going to in Istanbul. Does it give an address? Homer Kitapevi ve Yanıncılık Yeni Çarşı Caddesi, Galatasaray. So this is in like the southern part of the new quarter. Anyway, Galatasaray, it's near the ferry. That's what I remember. But yeah, so I keep that. That's a nice like keepsake. Let's see. Unabridged Bookstore from Chicago, from my one trip to Chicago. Just visited all the bookstores that I could on every trip that I could. The Chela 2 bookstore from Dana Point, California. This is a classic bookstore design, so it's maybe very old. More from the Chicago trip. Sandmeyer's bookstore, Dearborn Street. And the fantasy that I'm reading now is set in Chicago. So like, I don't know. Beach Books, Oregon Coast. They've got a beautiful bookstore. You walk in and it's just like everything's glowing That I remember that one's really pretty. We've got Ashland chiming in here with Bloomsbury Books. Who knows if they're still there? But yeah, I don't usually stop in Ashland anymore because I can't find a good restaurant when I'm driving through. We've got Myopic, and I don't know where that is. Let's see. Chicago. Myopic is Chicago, so that was from that trip. We've got too many. We've got one from my Washington, like my birthday from 10 years ago, Book Larder, a community cookbook store. So they had cookbook authors come by and do demonstrations. They had cookbook accessories, really beautiful store to walk into as well. So I followed them a long time ago and still like the idea. The Reading Corner Inc. from Rockland, Maine. I was in Maine in 2012. So again, don't know if they're still there. Let's see, that's another Powell's, Broadway. We've got a Book Warehouse, which is everywhere. Mystery boxes. Yeah, they have multiple locations. Oregon. I don't know where I went to this one. Do they have it in California? Doesn't look like it. So, Book Warehouse. Losing the plot here. Oh, here's one from Traveling. The Royal Danish Collection at Rosenborg Castle. So they've got it in Danish. And then The Lives and Kings and Queens of Denmark. So they had a bookmark. I don't know. I visited 2016, I believe. The Open Book, Rare Out of Print and Used Books in Bend. I don't know. Are they still there? Anyone in Bend want to weigh in? Port Book and News. Let's see. That is in Port Angeles, Washington. So I don't even know when I would have stopped there. Maybe onto one of the Gallic summer weekends. Let's see. Of course, we got another local Portland. Annie Blooms down in Multnomah Village. Very cute little cat and living room graphic. And then Exile in Bookville. I remember that experience. That was to Chicago. They have it made to look like a movie ticket, which is pretty cool. We've got Bridge City Comics, which I think is in Portland for the Bridge City. So they've got a comic on the bookstore, which fits. We've got Spoken Word, which is Portland. Milwaukee is a suburb, and they're new and they're shiny. They do have some used books, but their focus is more on Pride books, so LGBTQ plus questioning, as well as community events. So they've got a great James Baldwin quote on the back. We've got Barner Books from New Paltz. So New Paltz, New York is where my mom's cousin Ginny used to live. So I definitely visited there. I'm sure this is a what was I going to say? I'm sure it's a used bookstore. I don't know if they're still there. What else have we got? We've got Ruby's Reading Challenge. So that's a bookstore in Sacramento or Folsom right next to it. And that A Likely Story bookstore is in Sykesville, Maryland. I have no recollection of going to that one, but I must have visited that at some point. Sort of a child-friendly bookmark. See, I'm trying to consolidate the repeats again here so I don't repeat myself. Oh my gosh, I have a Borders. Look at that. Nostalgia. Borders bookmark. Books Music Cafe. It's like Tower Records at this point. It might be worth money. No, I'm sure it's not. Getting to the bottom here. Bookstore ones. So we've got Feldman's Books, which is Menlo Park. Okay, so along with Kepler's, Feldman's. I'm not sure if they're there anymore. You know, we've gone through some big changes in independent bookstores, but hopefully some of these are still hanging in there. And of course, Shakespeare and Company. When I went last, I don't know, a long time ago. This is how I got started on Booktube. I used a Shakespeare and Company questionnaire as a tag, and I did a video every day in August. So that was their events from, I don't even know when, January through March of probably 6 years ago. So that's cool. All right, so now the final ones that are all repeats. We have Artifacts, which is out in Hood River. So they're like anti-capitalist. They're a big, sprawling bookstore where it's hard to find stuff, but people know where to find it. And they don't have a website or a way to contact the store or like a phone number. So you just show up when you show up and like take what you can get. So that's a cool attitude. Diversity, right? We've got Two Rivers Bookstore, which is a book and yarn shop. So that's the combination there. And I've got 2 different generations of bookmarks. So that's kind of neat to see how people change. Kind of cool. I've got one that's disappeared. Periscope Books and Tutoring. Oh, so this is out in Hillsboro or somewhere near Hillsboro. And I don't know why I have so many. I went out there a few times because I was meeting with someone who is a fellow author. And I don't remember why exactly, if it was editing or something, but I remember going out there several times. And she also had a tutoring business. So I like when people combine businesses like books and yarn or books and coffee or books and tutoring. That works for me. So that is no longer there. And then, of course, this one is no longer there, which I've got several postcards, another read through. I'm sorry, I'm not getting the this one. There we go. So original art by Neil. This is another read through, of course, where I used to work, and Elisa was the owner, and she'd do postcards for people who are coming up with events. And then these are all mostly the same. She got a series of the same ones. So like quotes and a couple different designs in each pack. So memories, nostalgia of bookstores gone by the wayside. All the rest of them I don't think have gone by the wayside. This was cool. It's a recipe for Vacaville Book Company, an 18th century English recipe by Mrs. Glass for moonbeam pudding. It's actually on the back. So I thought that was kind of neat. I thought about making it, but it's not a pot pie. So you still, yeah, jelly from preceding recipe. So yeah, you got to make your own gelatin, sugar, egg whites, sweet almonds, rose water, orange water. And I was like, I don't know. That's going to be good. So 18th century recipe, you got to take your risks. We've got Lucy's Books, which is an Oregon Coast bookstore. We've got Backstory Books and Yarn, which is one of my favorite used bookstores I sell to the most, and I have credit there that I translate into gift certificates every so often when I run a promotion, which is fun. We've got Trident, which is from my Boston trip. Trident rewards card. What's it called? Trident rewards card. Trident Booksellers or Cafe. So they were pretty cool when I went to visit. Broadway Books, which is where Elisa works now, and they're doing very well. They're the ones that I got Cascadia Field Guide from. And finally, the Powells. So, oh, that's Trident. So we've got, nope, that's Backstory. Powells, it looks like a tag from Christmas time. A really old school one that is talking about Pulitzer Prize winners. And the latest one is 1959. No, it goes up to 2001. So that's probably when I got this. Never Lose Your Place. It's a more modern one. Love Outlander. You might like these. So that was a good suggestion, but you'll see it's rather faded. It's seen many days. Old school Powell's books, different colors. Like I've gone there so much throughout the years. And that's Broadway. Okay. So that one got in the wrong pile. So there's a fair few in the bookstore category. Oh, cool Turkish bookmark. You have more than 50, says Cat Paw. Nia says, oh, wow, I'm revising. 68. We're getting closer. 65. Rita, hello. Popping by to say hi. Getting closer. What's the next one? A bookmark that holds your place using magnets. I actually don't get those. So I don't have any of those, which is good because I don't think they work very well. A bookmark that has your name or initials, and I have some like childhood bookmarks for that one. So here's one that's like just for you, Margaret. And I think it has I didn't take it out. Oh, there we go. It has the actual like your name means pearl in Latin, and so like you're special. So I remember that as a gift when I was a kid. These have my initials. These I got in Ireland in 1995. I hardly ever use them because I don't want to mess them up, but like they're really pretty Celtic letter art. I like that. It was really neat. They've got, oh, I got it at Muckross House. The price tags are still on the back. They were £1.75. I'm sure the inflation from 1995 is going to blow people's minds. I'm sure they're like £6, not pounds. Yeah, pounds. Pounds, because this was before, wait, pounds? This is before the Eurozone, which is in like 97? Oh my God. I am preserving history, folks. So yeah, those are my initials on that one. And like other really old ones, like have lost their tassels. This is Mary Engelbrett that my friend Monica got me. Happy 15th birthday. Look at that. Wow. Antioch bookmarks, like old school with the tassels still in, like just really pretty 90s vibe. What's it called? Enya music video vibe. And that's Mary Engelbrett again without the tassel. It's a classic bookmark lore. Yeah, really cool. What's the next question? Any special purpose bookmarks or, oh, that's the next question. Okay, so before we go to the next question, was there anything else that I was going to share? Yeah, so there's other categories that actually I could add into this question of like special things. So some of them are art. So here are the ones that I keep because they're just beautiful art. I'm not sure where this came from. Books Are the Mirror of the Soul, Virginia Woolf, but they had this really pretty print on the back. And then, of course, Persephone uses their end papers as art. So that's a Persephone bookstore mark, which I could have included in the bookshop category. But look at that Art Nouveau. That's in the end papers for Madame Solario by Gladys Huntington. So that's a cool Persephone bookmark that I keep because it's art. That's like another Asian-inspired, I think, like handmade one. This is made by a friend who came to the launch, and she doesn't watch YouTube. So that's Allie made this pretty watercolor like bookmark. So I've still got that. And then this is just straight up Alphonse Mucha merchandise. So that's really pretty. Belle Epoque kind of Art Nouveau look there from Prague. Places I've visited, we've got the museum. I think this is from, yeah, Musée du Moyen Âge, Terme de Cluny. So one of my favorite museums in Paris is the place that had the Lady and the Unicorn tapestries. Editing Robert Burns for the 21st century. I mentioned Robert Burns at the launch last night. So this is a University of Glasgow bookmark. We've got one from Iceland, which is actually from a fellow author, not when I actually went to Iceland, but I love it for the colors, the moss. And let's see, we've got Libro. Libro, I think I got that from another read through. They put out their own bookmarks. So there's that. We've got Cynthia at Book Whimsy, who I don't hear from too often on her channel anymore, but she had bookmarks when she did a giveaway, which is clever. And then we've got things that aren't bookshops or authors. I have an author stack, but are literary organizations. So the library, Multnomah County Library, they had a bookmark for Small Business Incubator. Poets and Writers, the magazine, so they give out bookmarks with their subscriptions. We've got Story Arts from Literary Arts, which is a literary organization here in Portland. We've got one from Nano, which is when I did like the Power Up winning Nano a long time ago, actually signed by the old executive director. So like actual signatures. So again, part of history. Cascade Booksellers. So that's like bookshop organization, 2 layers. Literary magazine, Ziziva. So a questionable quote, but they had a bookmark, and the Cossack Review, online review. Pretty cool bookmark. So literary organizations. And then the last category I had was authors. So let me show you authors bookmarks. And let me start with mine. So I had this one, which a friend illustrated my logo for the website, and I put that on a bookmark. I had my first couple books on there, so you could tell how old that is. And then when I met a printer named Charles, he helped like demonstrate how letterpress printer would work, and I put my Taste Life Twice business, and we did a few of those, which was very cool. But I haven't done bookmarks in a while. But a lot of other authors have. So Stephanie Carroll, A Novel of Madness and Secrets. I think that's a really good example. Got Liz Prado, Babies on Fire. She just took part of her cover, and that's very evocative. We've got Oz Dinç, which is a friend, Turkish friend who I met in DC. And this is what his bookmarks look like. So he was promoting. Angela Quarles, Geek Girl romance writer. She now owns a romance bookstore in Alabama, I believe. And Must Love Chainmail is the second one. She's got great taste in romance, so I love reading her books. Shoot the Horses First by Leah Angstman, who I've had on my channel. She's lovely. She's a great writer. We've got Carrie Febris, who writes Jane Austen mysteries. So I was into that, and I think I met her at a Historical Novel Society conference. Newest addition to the bookmark collection, Read More Queer Books by Kay Fletcher. She was near me at the Holiday Cheer event. Kristen Hall Geisler, who may be my book to be read for her kids indie author book. So I met her at an event last year. We've got super old, but I love the art. So Neil's older books that are not in circulation anymore. So I just thought that was cool. So I kept the bookmark. Neil Cochran, who works at Two Rivers Bookstore now. So we all circulate. Another Angela Quarles, different book, Must Love Kilts. That wasn't as good as Must Love Breeches, unfortunately, for me. Monsters We Defy by Leslie. She doesn't have her name. Oh, she does. It's on the cover. Okay, Leslie Penelope. It's not elsewhere on the bookmark, so I blinked for a second. But yeah, that was really good. Tales from a Revolution. So Lars Hedbor, fellow Portland author who's historical fiction, different era. Shannon, S.C. Houston. So when I helped out with the Kickstarter, we had a Curse of Scales and Feathers. That's a beautiful bookmark she sent, or postcard that I used to bookmark. The Spanish Club by Danielle Burnett, which I don't have no memory of, but I have the bookmark. We've got Kate Derringer by Sally Stember. So that's like a hand illustrated bookmark. Right to Excite, like a thing on the back. That's pretty neat. It's unique. Kristen Johnson's Awaken. So this is paranormal a long time ago when I first started. So this is probably from Portland Book Festival when I was still tabling at it. That's O's. We've got The Ninth Day, which is a historical fantasy series by Ruth Tenzer Feldman. Also early Portland days. She's got a recipe on the back. It's a Jewish historical fantasy series. We've got Jamie Duclos Jordan's Frolic's Ladder. So this is his debut book with Forest Avenue Press. And so Laura put out postcards. So that's kind of historical nostalgia. Jennifer Robson, very like professional. I can't get mine to come out like that, but she does a great job. The Witch Hammer, which I also don't have a memory of, but like tassel's still hanging in there. So good job. Well made. Jeannie Burt's actually just her business card, but using that as a bookmark. Liana Renee Heber, who is a Gaslamp fantasy author. She's written many books since this, but Spectral City was the one when I met her and got one of her benefits, I think from her Etsy shop. So she's amazing. She does haunted historical tours in New York City that go along with her Gaslamp fantasy books. Oh, and then this is Ink and Shrink swag. This is where I got the earrings, I think, that were my book, The Keening. So I kept that for reference. So yeah, author and business bookmarks as promo. Okay. Hi, Heather. Popping by to say hi. Appreciate that. Jim says, cool having your own bookmarks. Very cool. Heather says, letterpress printing is fascinating to watch. Yes, and I wish I, was more dexterous to be able to figure it out. But watching Charles try to do all the repairs on his like old machine, I was just like, I would never be able to afford the new ones, and I would never be able to keep up the old ones. So that put paid to my visions of letterpress grandeur. Okay. I think Jim is the winner with his revised guess of 68 because he is the closest to 195. And here's the picture. I laid them all out and I tried to give space for them all on my little round kitchen table. But, okay, don't do me like that. Just rotate. Rotate. There we go. All right. So that's what my table looks like, covered in my bookmarks. There's 195 there. There's a lot, right? I read a lot of books, and I said this counts duplicates, but this does not count bookmarks that are currently in books. So there's one, I had a couple of Saints cards in here. There's one that I remember I had as a child that was a saint card. I don't know which saint. And it was covered in plastic. So like this one, when I traveled, and it's covered in plastic to protect the paper. It's like this, but it was a smaller size, like this size. And it had a thing like this. And as like a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, I had like an oral fixation. So I chewed on the plastic from it, and it's got teeth marks. And I still have it. So I couldn't find that one because it's currently in use somewhere, but I thought that was a fun piece of Margaret trivia. I've also got this postcard from Trip Fiction, which I did some reviews for, and I laminated a leaf in there because I wanted to preserve the red, and they turn brown, whatever, if they're exposed to the air. So this is my very unprofessional attempt to keep the red alive. I managed to keep this, which is from the 90s as well. This bookstore no longer exists, but it was in San Luis Obispo. I spent many, many hours in there. I loved that bookstore as a teenager. This was also from Haworth. So this is a Charlotte Bronte bookmark that I don't use often because I don't want to ruin it. I don't bite that one. And then this is another letterpress one that I loved. I got it at a book fair in Portland. So weave from art a garment from your soul for your soul. It's a quote from Humphrey Clinker. And the bookmarks were made by the Clinker Press, which I think they took his name because they were inspired. So yeah, 195. Whoo! They're this big. So like I can keep them all in a plastic Ziploc bag like this. So at least it's not taking over the house like the book collection is. So Heather, when you watch this, let me know if you see any other versions of the tag that have more than 195, because I don't know, maybe that's where I can excel and leave my mark. I have the most bookmarks. There's your thumbnail image. Yeah. I should put that on the thumbnail, except I did the thumbnail last night or yesterday, and I only took that picture this morning because of the launch party. So yeah, well, it's been going on. 68 times 3 minus 9. So triple your guess, and you overshot by just a little bit. But you're closest. If I'd kept all of mine, I tend to pass them on. I'd be getting close to you, but not quite. How would you even know? Like, I don't have a mental computing of that through the years. This is how I remember where I've been, is like the physical paper evidence. Oh, and they're not all paper. So I separated out There's another question in here that gets at different materials, but I'll just say it now. So I have this from Barnes & Noble a long time ago. It's got a quote from Winston Churchill that I like. So it's like brass. It's brass. Not very good at metals. And in addition to that Korean one, we've got an Art Nouveau lady bookmark, which is stainless steel, probably. Made in Scotland, it says. Yeah, so that's pretty. And then this is another, I think, Korean one, because it's got a Korean symbol on the bottom, but like a dragon filigree. It's just so pretty. So those are the metal ones. And then there's a few wooden ones. So there's a lobster. So I bet that came from Maine. There's a kangaroo. So, you know, maybe that came from down under. And then there's a cat. Let's see if we can give it a, there we go. Cat playing with a mouse, which is cute. It is super cute. And, you know, it's not written on here, so I don't know where they come from. But I don't see them often. So, yeah. So different materials make it fun. Jeremy says, I also tend to give mine away to others, especially when they borrow books. Oh, okay. I don't include a bookmark with a book when I lend it out. Interesting. Eva has missed the hour-long, so I think it was mostly bookmark content. But if you're up for bookmark content, strap in. Question number 5, do you use anything unusual as a bookmark? Well, you saw that category. We got receipts, we got business cards, we got telephone top-ups. We have nostalgia as bookmarks, and that's part of why I love. Number 6, are there types of bookmarks that you don't like? For example, a vegan not wanting to use leather bookmarks. No, I would say like the magnetic ones haven't caught on in my household because I don't really see, and like things that use over the edge, I want to turn the pages, so they don't really work for me, but yeah. Question 7, are there types of bookmarks you do not own but would like to, or types of bookmarks you would like to have more of? I don't need more bookmarks. In fact, having gone through this collection, which I think I'm going to get rid of the duplicates and pass them on. I don't know how I'll pass them on. If you want any of these, you put something in the chat and I'll like send you a bookmark if you think any of them are cool, of the duplicates that I have. When I was a kid. Oh yeah. So when I showed you some of the favorites, they had tassels. So the really, really old ones. So I remember thinking this was the coolest thing as a kid because like tactily, they're like soft and silky. So I like that part. And also like they don't last. So they fall apart and, you know, you lose the tassels, but that's okay. Optional question about ebooks. If you read ebooks, are you happy or unhappy with how your e-reading device handles bookmarks? So I will use the iPad to either read books on Kobo or Kindle, the apps on the iPad. And I think the bookmarks, I will add audiobook to this actually, Heather. So ebook reading, I will highlight. I don't use bookmarks because bookmarks, you can only use one at a time. It's actually making you use it. Like a bookmark, you only use it for your place. And then when you turn the page, it goes away, I think. So I will use highlights. And I wish there were more colors because there's only like 4. And so it's just like page flags. My color system for bookmarks, it doesn't change. Usually like they have yellow, which is interesting, and red, which is like typo or really bad. Like I don't like it. So it's fine. You know, that means that my system is actually consistent rather than page flags, which changes with every book. But audiobooks, audiobook bookmarks. So when I want to mark something in an audiobook, so obviously the tech saves your place, and that's great. But if I want to record a note, I put a bookmark in and I'll put in a note either with an audio recording or typing with my fingers when I'm listening on my phone to audiobooks through Libro. And it doesn't have a good autocorrect function. So often I'll look at something and be very confused about what I was trying to say. And it does attach to that point, so I'll go back a little and then try to remember what I was thinking at that point. What I do with bookmarks and audiobooks is before I delete the files from my phone, I take a screenshot of all the bookmarks that I've left, and I use that as my like turn down corners or page flags in a physical book when I go to review it. So if you see me in a wrap up, I will probably be looking at the screenshot of my bookmarks for the audiobook. If that makes sense. It's feeling very complex, but it's not, I don't think. But then when I delete the files on the phone so that I have room on the phone, it goes away. So that's why I have to take a screenshot. And then when I download them again, it's still attached because it's a bookmark at the place where I own the audio files on Libro, if that makes sense. Again, it sounds complex, but I do it, so it can't be that complex. And then for this one, the last thing is to tag people. So I was going to tag Melinda at A Web of Stories, her bookmark collection, Book Chat with Pat to see if she has a bookmark collection, and Emily Clarice Pessoa at Linguist Library. So I'll put their names down in the description below. This is all a little more haphazard than usual. Oh, okay. So let's see. In the chat here, Eva Dog Ears a Corner. Yeah. Well, I get bookmarks free from bookstores, and I love going to bookstores to support them. So that's how they accumulate. Very few of these were actually bought, and many of those were gifts to me. So then they have nostalgia value. And Jeremy says, if you used money for bookmarks, and you might want more of that. But as you see, I do not use money for bookmarks. Money stays in my wallet or under the bed, under the mattress. And the coins that I have don't really have a good bookmark use as coins. So they just stay in little decorative cups and stuff if I can't use them. Not currency coins, like antique coins or like special coins or foreign coins. That's what I mean. Eva says leather bookmarks are too thick for me. Yeah, it might damage the book if you use those, but the metal ones work really well. So, I mean, they're a little bit more slippery. Paper against paper tends to have more friction, so it'll stay in place. These tend to slide out a bit more, but they're fun. Like, I like the quotes. So, yeah. Wow. You did not know you were going to be in for such a deep dive into my bookmark collection, did you? I hope that was entertaining for Heather, who started this with Meg at Books Off the Beaten Path. I hope this is meeting your expectations for Hold My Place 195. But I will be letting go of some. But I always say that about books, and then like more books come into my life. So we'll see. I don't see a problem with it. Again, it's one Ziploc bag full, and it's not creating a problem. So yay. It's what makes me happy. So I'm okay with it. Eva says, I tell the fam we put varying amounts of paper monies in books in the home library. Ooh, bait. So someday someone will go through each one. There you go. There you go. That's a good lure if I ever heard one. So just announcements at the end. If you'd like to get bookish mail and maybe some of these bookmarks. Oh, what's in my mail drawer? I didn't even count these because it's a whole notebook. These are bookmarks that don't work for me very well because they're too tall for my books. But if you're a hardcover reader and you want sort of like cute cookbook themed bookmarks, give me a shout. I'll start sending them out because I realize that, this is a lot, but I'll include them with some bookish mail in 2025. You can find out more about that on my Patreon, which is there linked. Coming up next is my next Wednesday wrap up. I think I'll have about 6 books. We've got Clear, which I forgot to review in December because it's an audiobook. Or I have the book, but I listened to the audiobook. We've got The Seed Keeper by Diane Wilson, which was delightful. We've got Bronte, which is a biography of one of the real historical figures that I put in Orla Rafferty Seeks Her Fortune. We've got Rising by Elizabeth Rush, which is a sort of climathon, water-based book if you're looking for the oceans prompt. And probably a couple more from ebook and audiobook land. But that is what is up next. And thank you so much for watching and bearing witness to my somewhat obsession with books. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things if you are entertained, and diversify that reading list. So I'll see you all again soon, hopefully on Wednesday. Until then, happy reading and take care. Jeremy asks, is an MP4 like an MP3 but better sound quality? No, an MP4 is a video, which is why I thought it worked perfectly. Patreon_MP4 is Margaret Pinard 4, because I'm a 4 on the Enneagram, and MP4 is the format that I provide to you here on YouTube. So it was easy to remember. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for the questions, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.